In this video, I will show you how we can, out of cubes and scaling them, create an IKEA bookshelf. This is a very easy and interesting starter exercise. Everything you see here is modeled out of the basic building blocks, but we also have some interactive elements where it's just one cube and we use a modifier to create multiples. Okay, so I will start with a new scene. First thing, I will go to Scene, Units, Imperial, and Inches. Then I can rotate my view a little bit, go to Add, Mesh, and Cube. With the mouse, we will zoom in a little bit. Press N or click on the triangle here to show the transform properties. So this cube, as you can see, is 24 by 24 by 24. However, it has to be 15.5 by 30 by 1.5. So it is 30 high, 15.5 deep, and has a thickness of 1.5 inches. It's up to us now to decide how I would like to orient this object. So when I go to the front, okay. So I can then use Y for the depth, Z is the height, and X is the thickness. Okay, thickness X, 1.5 inches. Enter. Y is the depth, 15.5. You see, I do not have to enter the unit systems, but I can if I want to. I can simply enter the numbers, and Blender understands the 30 I entered is actually inches. Cool. Oh, this object is just somewhere in 3D space. It's kind of floating. For the software, or any software actually in 3D, it is kind of like centered, but the lower part is not on the ground. We would like to do this. So we have snap to grid turned on. Very good. When we zoom in, you can also see that because it's 30 inches, that's an even number, the object lines up really with the grid. Very good. So let's move this up. We go to move, click on with the left mouse button on the blue arrow, click and drag, then hold the control key. And you see when you then move your mouse, it starts snapping to the grid. Release left mouse button, release the control key. That's it. Okay, I will undo. By the way, undo on Mac and PC is both Control Z. You can on a Mac also use the Control, or you can use the Mac key. So one more time. Blue arrow key, we left mouse button, click and drag, hold the control key, snap to the correct position, release everything. That's it. And also for releasing, it is important that you release the mouse key first and not the control key, because then you instantly back into moving. We can rotate our view a little bit. We have on the ground another cube. So let's go one more time, add mesh cube. This time now Z is 1.5, Y is 15.5, and X, for the moment, we will set as 55. Enter. Now when we move this over and hold control key, ooh, it goes from pretty big jumps, chunks, English. What I want is this corner to line up with there. So this snapping should not to the grid, but should maybe snap to a point or snap to an edge. So I go snap vertex. Go to here. Move this one up a little bit. Okay, so here's the trick now. I, with the mouse button, left mouse button, click on the red arrow key, and I can move it left and right. So this is all good. Then I go with my mouse over this lower corner. There's a point, and hold the control key. And you see how then it snaps to it. So one more time. You see there's my cursor. I hold the control key. And the moment it overlaps with a different geometry, it can snap to it. Release the left mouse button, release the control key. Let's move this one down. So left mouse button, click and drag on the blue arrow, move it down, hold the control key, and when I get close to that corner, it snaps. Perfect. Very good. Okay. Now I would like to get one copy to there and then one copy from here to the other side. There are two ways how we can do this. One way is this is selected, then Mac and PC again, Control or Apple C, Control V, so we copy and paste. And then we can move this one up, hold the Control key, and there we are. And you see, let's do the same here. Copy and paste. Click on the red arrow, hold the Control key, and it snaps to that edge, but not the way how I want. What I have to do is I need to move it a little bit to the outside because the right point snapped to the right. I want the left point to snap to the right point. So go back. There we are. Okay. Easy. At this point, we can take a look here also at the collection. You see we're adding all these elements. Maybe call this frame, so double click. We can call this bottom if we want. We can call this top. So you see when I click an object here, it highlights which one it is, or when I click an object here, it highlights it too. Maybe side. And when I write side here again, it will rename it into site.001 because you cannot have two objects with the same name. It's kind of like an ID number. Very good. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the first video. One thing I would like to show is how we can make also clones. So this object and this object, if I go into edit mode, select this point, go to move this one up, you see this is different than this object. Okay, I will undo this step, go back to object mode. And what I want to do is when I change this, then this will actually update with it. Should be the same. Okay, so we press X and delete this top. Select this one. Then we go to Object. And there we have the command Shift D, which is actually copy and paste in one command. Or we have Alt D. So one is called duplicate object and one is called duplicate linked. So what does duplicate linked mean? Think about it this way. Currently you see there two left and right panels. Two objects, two different meshes. But we can actually make instances or clones. That's essentially what this is about. So we can click on this duplicate linked. Really important, don't click. So you see now we are instantly into the move command. We still also have the snapping turned on or the target being set to vertex. Now I can hold the control key and whoop, snap it to there. So let me do this one more time. Let's delete this. So we select this object, go Object, make duplicate linked. I move my mouse to this position, hold Control, click there. So then you rename this into top. Now check this out. When I go into object mode, you see both are highlighted. I can select this, move this up. The other one moves with it. So there you see what's happening. We have two objects, but they display the same geometry. This is very useful when we have to work with elements which are kind of like building blocks, so repetitive elements. Because if I think about it, you have a house with 10 windows and you want to modify them all. You don't want to have to modify each one. You modify one and all are updated at the same time. That's pretty much like that. Okay, let's go back to object mode. And one last thing, if you want to write this down, as a key shortcut, object mode and edit mode, the switch is the tab key. So TAB, tab. I always pronounce the B like a P. I always say tab. I always say X and X, but I mean X and eggs. So tab, that does it for you. Or you simply use the menu. I will use the main menu for most of the time, so it's easier for people to see. If you want to use the shortcut, please go ahead and do so.